And we are rolling. Hello,
Yes.
everybody. We're rolling.
Rolling,
It is, what is it? It is Sunday, February 8th. Super Bowl Sunday. And also the start of baseball season.
Well,
Yeah, well,
not technically.
Today is the unofficial start of baseball season. And if you came for a writer's podcast, we'll get there. But we could easily do a baseball podcast.
We could.
It's just so easily. We buy an MLB ticket, and just watch baseball. Because, baseball.
Well, and we have our local Reno Aces, so we could do minor league.
Yeah, we could
very easily.
Easily do it. But we're not going to do that. We're here for Writers Podcast.
Well,
if you're brand new to this, so to speak.
Well, I was going to say the other thing that's going on right now is the Olympics.
The Olympics. We flew this flag outside the governor's mansion when the torch came through Carson City many, many, many years ago.
Not this specific flag.
But one like it.
Yes. Yes, I actually still have the little giveaway flags they did.
Yeah,
they were sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Yeah, we were standing in front of the governor's mansion
in the cold.
Yep, going woo woo.
I think the Olympics were in Utah that year, Salt Lake City, maybe.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a very long time ago. But yes, actually, this flag was in our basement when we moved in.
So anyway, so happy baseball season, happy Olympics.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday. So as is tradition, we're going to talk about the writers thing in a second. But as is tradition, CC and I have made a bet, a side wager. She is red, white, and blue today, going for the Patriots. I'm going for the Seahawks. We don't know what we have bet, but I am very afraid that if she wins, it's not going to be pretty.
And just to let people know, we really don't have any skin in the game because we're not fans of either team.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you have a current team because you were following the Raiders for a while, but...
Oh, and then they the train wreck turned into a, garbage fire, and it just...
Dumpster fire
on wheels, and
so
they're just...
we don't really,
Okay.
I think whoever wins, good luck.
Good luck, but we're waiting for baseball season.
We are, so Cubs!
Go
Cubs!
Okay, we're going to shift over to writing because that's why you're here. So this is a writers podcast for writers. Our mission here is to help writers write. We've been doing this writing thing for a while. Financially not successful, but we still manage to grind books out. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the things we're going to talk about is grinding a book out. We are always looking for ideas. We would love to have ideas. So if you have ideas, something we could talk about, shoot them on over because we may not be financially proficient, but production-wise,
we're prolific.
We're prolific between the number of books we've put out, the number of books we're going to put out, and our company and the things that we've learned along the way. So to help writers write is our mission statement. So
yes.
Yay.
And we have books in various stages of the process right now. Behind me is a bookshelf full of books that we've already published.
Mm-hmm.
We are about to publish another book, which we will be talking about. I am in the process of preparing a book for editing. We have ideas. I believe you've started noodling with a new idea.
Yeah.
So we are in all stages of the process at the same time, which may be part of our problem.
Yeah. And we're also retired, so this is our, retirement career. Retired, but we're keeping pretty busy. So let's dive into things real quick with a current update, our current status. I have a book coming out next month on St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to be doing a cover reveal. I might just stick to cover in this podcast just as a surprise and put it over my face so you don't have to look at it, you poor people. But so it's going to be finding salvation. So what it is I published a trilogy that I wrote during lockdown that turned out to be like 150,000, 160,000 words. I just kept writing. Turned out to be like, let's see, what God was it? My math is terrible right now. Turned out to be over 200,000 words. And so I sliced it up and it turned into 3 books. So the Serving Salvation series. And then somebody said,
Not just me.
yeah, it wasn't just you, but somebody was browsing book covers and saw a Sex Bot Revolution. Was it something like that?
Something like that.
Sex Bot Revolution on a pre-made cover. And it's like I went, I could do something like that. And that turned into 3 novellas, which I've combined into a single book. And so we're going to do a cover reveal on Tuesday, and it's already out there for pre-sale. So Finding Salvation.
With that said, Finding Salvation Part 1, the first novella is already released. It's out there in the world in ebook format. So if you want to get a little taste of that before the full series comes out next month, you can download Part 1 of Finding Salvation right now.
Yep, it's out on all the usual platforms for a big 99 cents. But if that's too much for you, reach out to us through our website and I'll just send it to you. I will send it to you for free, either in EPUB or PDF.
Didn't you also mention if you want to sign up for our newsletter, which we don't send out very often, you can also get a free copy that way.
Yeah, so the first novella is like 40-something thousand words, and it placed as a finalist in the Independent Authors Network Awards.
Ian.
Yeah, and so it wasn't cast aside. At least it placed. It didn't get a 1, 2, or 3, but it placed. So if you want to do that, that would be awesome. So
and people have been enjoying. Someone that you play with on one of your game sites has been chatting with JT about the Serving Salvation books.
Yeah,
so people are enjoying the universe.
Yeah, she's gotten into it pretty deeply. So that's a bit of fun. That's a bit of fun. And you have also been doing a bit of fun.
I got the beta notes back for Restless Spirits Book 2 and am working on cleaning things up, so hopefully it can go to the editor soon. We were initially thinking that the book might come out on tax day. I'm now thinking it might be closer to late April or early May, but I'm still hoping for April, keeping my fingers crossed. It will depend on scheduling with the editors and everything like that, because we do go through an editorial service that's become very popular apparently, and that's great. We appreciate them and all the work they do, so that's not a problem. It just, we have to work our schedule, and really the only people we're accountable to right now are ourselves, so we don't have people clamoring for our books, but
we just want to grind these things out because we're keeping busy.
We want to grind them out, but we also want to make sure they're the best quality we can make them.
Yeah, so a couple more notes. We do have more books coming out this year. We counted them up. I think we said we're going to have 6 books come out, and we've only talked about 2. So Finding Salvation takes place 3,000 years before Serving Salvation. It's when the ship leaves Earth to take its long journey. And so Finding Salvation is that one. Right now there is a book, an accompanying piece that happens at the same time that is at the editors right now. Especially terrycase.com. It's like fantastic editor, terrycase.com.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So and we're hoping to get that puppy out on my birthday in July. And then I've written in my brain the first chapter of the Sheriff series. The next book in the Sheriff series, the fourth book in the Sheriff series.
Now, for full accountability, though, you should mention that you are not too happy where you are in this phase right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of creatively drained because of all this writing that's been going on. But, I'm going to go forward.
And I will say this has happened before. I think it happened, if I remember correctly, before book 3 as well. For some reason, the Maggie series, it comes right out when you sit down to start writing it, but there's always that little bit of a block there, and I don't remember if Maggie was, Sheriff in Nevada was just intended to be a standalone.
It was supposed to be a standalone. Yeah, I never meant to do a series.
But it has become very popular, at least for us.
Yeah.
That's one of our most popular books. So people are enjoying Maggie's trials and tribulations, and the Nevada backdrop is very much a character in the book, which we've discussed probably at length on here, but it is something that it's almost like pulling teeth for JT, where
Oh,
you know,
it's
if
hard.
we get him in the chair and he's got his mouth firmly shut,
Yeah,
but eventually it just comes right out, and
it's a trial. But the fourth book will pick up where the third book left off, because the third book was called Sheriff in Nevada, Corona. So it's going to pick up in March 2020 and pick up from then. And it's going to be the election year plus everything else that's going on. Like I said, I've written the first chapter, and like Cece says, just sitting down and doing it. But yeah. But right now, so those are my books. So I'm looking at releasing the Finding Salvation parallel adventure on my birthday, and Maggie Book 4 on October 31st, the real Nevada Day, which, by the way, this year actually falls on Nevada Day.
doesn't happen all the time.
And then you have your Restless Spirits 2, which you're shooting for May. And then you don't know if you're going to be able to fit you were planning to release a book on Nevada Day.
I am still planning to release a book on Nevada Day, A Battleborn Bride.
Is there a book in between the two?
Yes. So Restless Spirits Book 3 is already written, needs to be revised before it can go into editing. So once Book 2 is in the editing queue, Book 3 is going into revision. Once that goes into editing, I'll be finishing Battleborn Bride. And then if you are following along on my YouTube journey this year, I'm posting daily videos over on there. I talked recently about another project that I want to release in the September-October timeframe. Is I am doing Spooktober again this year for October, which, you know, it's almost Valentine's Day, so let's think about Halloween.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I have to plan ahead because I didn't last year and skipped doing anything new for that playlist. So this year's Spooktober plan is that I have pulled out my old typewriter. I'm going to create some poems based on Edgar Allan Poe. I'm kind of steadying up a little bit on him, stretching my writing wings a little bit, and I'm planning to write poems, hopefully a poem a day for October, and a little companion book in case anybody's interested. So I may be releasing 2 things in October.
So we're keeping busy. Since we segued into social media real quick, just going to mention something, then we'll get into the meat of this podcast. Is we are all over social media. We are literally all over social media. So if you really want to get to know us, you can go to our website at carsonhume.com. And also, by the way, we do a second podcast, the Nevada Author Network, and we've featured somebody recently, Susan Morgan Williams, and we're going to be having Jade Griffin back on. Hey, Jade. And, we enjoy doing both of these podcasts. They're so much fun. But we also are all over social media. You heard Cece mention that she's doing Facebook daily. I'm doing YouTube daily. And I've been doing the 15-second TikTok thing daily. So as an experiment, I got a coupon from TikTok, and I used it yesterday. And it's gotten over 1,000 views. Whoopee. And it's translated to 0 views on our website. So tread carefully with social media is what we're always saying. We still haven't found the right combination of social media. We're going to keep going though. We're going to keep trying.
I will say that doing the daily YouTubes, I'm up to, it's been well over a month now, because I've done one every day since New Year's, and I have picked up a few new subscribers. At least one person, hello, thank you for joining my channel.
Yeah.
She watched the video all the way through and responded to the questions I asked in the video. So we had a little back and forth on there, a brief one. So there is the option of trying to go broad with things like TikTok coupons, but I'm finding that, at least in our case, we seem to do better with organic growth, making that connection. And it takes a lot of time and we have to do something daily, because if you don't do something daily, the algorithm loses you. And it's kind of a toss-up as to whether it's even worth the time, because we've talked about all the projects we have in progress right now, plus we're working on setting up our in-person events for the year, We have 2 not finalized yet, but we're on the list at least for 2 of them. So, just the life of a writer is busy.
Yeah.
Unless you just put things out there and see what happens, which is also totally valid, but we're trying to build a following and it's really slow going.
Yeah. So right now that TikTok I was talking about has over 1,300 views, and I just picked up another follower because of that. So, and I do the 15-second thing every day, and organically, I do get, followers every once in a while. I'm just, as you said, we're just keep doing it, and hopefully, we just need one thing to go viral.
Not even that anymore. I've been watching a lot of other people who talk about how to do these things properly, and really it works differently for everyone. So I think we just need to find people that we vibe with, because, we're an older couple, we're long married, there's not a lot of drama in our lives, so it's not like we're going to go viral because we're breaking up or anything like that. So it's like, that kind of drama really gets attention, but that's not who we are. So we're just doing what we can when we can. And for anybody who is looking at following the kind of path that we're following, we can give you advice on things that we've tried. They haven't really been incredibly successful in a numbers or an income way, but I think overall we've been successful just because we're tenacious and we keep doing it over and over and over again.
We're going to keep swinging for the fences. Okay. But if anybody has any ideas, if anybody has an idea on social media that's worked for them, we'd love to hear it. Go through our website again at carsonhume.com, because we'll take ideas. We'll pretty much try anything. And if there's a TikTok coupon out there for us, why not? Hey, okay.
Okay. That said, the one caveat is that we have been getting all of those spam emails and messages like most people do. So tread carefully with that as well. We will take advice. We won't necessarily follow it if it doesn't feel right for us. And if you're trying to market a service, we understand that marketers also have businesses, but we can't afford it. And, someday if we ever start making money, we might hire someone to work with us on marketing. But at this point in time, we can't.
Come on, people, help us out here. I'm too old and ugly to be on OnlyFans, but you're gonna make me get there. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today.
Okay,
we're going to talk about a valuable asset in our toolbox, perhaps our most valuable, and that is the word feedback. It's funny. I posted a meme the other day. By the way, Merriam-Webster does pronounce it meme. It was today's word of the day. I posted a meme back the other day. It was from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and where a character asked the other one, "Can you take constructive criticism?" And the other person replies, "Not without crying." and it's writing is hard, and it's very personal. I have yet to discover the method or the ability to distance myself from it, make it a clinical process. And that's probably a good thing, because I think it should be a part of your soul that you're putting out there on the screen. So, children are children. Children grow, they develop, and they develop their own personality, and they go their own way, and you still love them and you still care for them. Books are also your children, but they only grow when you let them grow. They only grow when you hit the keyboard and you make those changes, but you still have to put them out in the world for them to become successful.
Right.
And before you do the widespread release, you select people that you trust, people that you respect, people that know you and care for you, and want you to succeed. And we lovingly call them betas. And we have fabulous betas. And they provide critical, important feedback. One of our books got stopped because the feedback that we received was correct.
Yeah, it didn't really have a point.
Yeah.
and we may revisit that book.
Mm-hmm.
I still think we have a valuable story to tell. We need to, based on the feedback we got, because we started with part 1 and we may end up working with part 2 this year as well. But it's something that we need to really clarify our point, which was the advice that JT gave me, to actually put a post-it while I'm working saying, make your point, because everybody knows I'm all over the place. And you are a very straightforward writer. You just, it's very smooth. There's a lot of moving the story forward, whereas I'm more of, oh, look, there's a dandelion over here, and oh boy, there's a squirrel in the tree. It's like, Doug, squirrel! So we have very different writing styles.
And this is the feedback that we've received,
Yep.
too. This is feedback that we've received. This is feedback that we've given each other. But feedback is absolutely critical to the mature development of a book.
Yep.
And I can understand why writers don't want to give their book to betas.
Oh, for sure.
It's because you're putting betas in an uncomfortable position of criticizing you. And people automatically apply a many people do, negative connotation to that word, criticize. And it shouldn't be. Criticize is a 50-50 kind of thing. It does have a negative aspect, but it does have a positive aspect. It is through that positive criticism, constructive criticism, that we grow as humans, that we grow as individuals, and that we grow as writers. And so betas fill that most important need, where they know you, they know your spirit, they know your personality, and they know your book, and they help you blend it all together to have the most successful book possible. And some of the feedback I've gotten as betas has been constructive, it has been diplomatic, but it has also been hardcore necessary.
And I think, going back to your idea of criticism, in my mind, when you say that, I think there are two different variants of the word, and I'm not sure if this is just something personal to me, but critical sounds negative, critique sounds positive. So I'm not sure if those are variants on the same word. I've never actually looked them up. But, and like I said, that's kind of my personal read on it. But the idea that betas do know you, it doesn't have to be an in-person relationship. It could be somebody who is a fan of your work. If you're a bigger name and somebody's been following you for a while, they're familiar with your work and they understand your writing style. So it is a very important relationship, and it definitely helps to have someone you trust. I saw recently, it wasn't a beta reader, it was an ARC reader, an advanced review copy reader. They got their advanced review copy and they put the ebook up online, which just don't. You're given that book for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not something that you're supposed to be sending out to, it cuts into a writer's bottom line, basically. It's a breach of trust. So don't.
And there is a difference between ARC readers and beta readers.
Yes.
They are very similar. If you were to draw the Venn diagram, they would be similar overlapping circles, but they're not. Whereas beta readers are people that you're familiar with. They could be friends, or they could be acquaintances. Like for instance, I'm going to do some name dropping here. Guy Clifton was one of my beta readers at one time, and if you're a Nevadan, you know Guy, and he is still missed. An ARC reader is somebody who is you can, as you said, it's called advanced reader copy, and their feedback is not to help you develop your book. Their feedback goes on the webpage
to help
as
promote.
a review. And so that's the difference.
It's a different part of the process, because your book is farther along at that point.
Yes.
Beta read is usually a very rough draft, but an ARC review, it's really about ready for publication.
Right. And just as a quick side note, there will be an ARC review available on Finding Salvation through Book Sirens starting on Monday. So, and so the purpose is those readers will give their feedback, and semi-objective or objective feedback, blah blah blah, and it will go to they will post it on Amazon or at your other sites if you wish. But beta readers are necessary. They're critical, and I think sometimes that it's easy to take them for granted because you're asking them to make a huge lift, to carve time out of their life.
Yeah.
So they have to really appreciate you and respect you
Yes.
in order to do that. And so,
well, I will say for the first time that I had someone reach out to me to offer a beta read on my book, which, thank you, Jackie Turner. I really appreciate it. Jackie also worked very hard on doing the beta read of my book while she was on vacation in Canada. So we really appreciate it. I enjoyed watching her, progress through Canada while I was watching the progress in my document. It's like, where are you finding the time to do all of this? But
that was fun.
It was very nice that she reached out to do that. And some people will. If you are cultivating a relationship with people, we do offer to help each other. I just finished reading Windcatcher, and I am going to get that review posted as well. So it is a give and take relationship in a lot of ways because we're trying to support each other, which is why the Nevada Author Network exists. And like JT was saying, actually beta reading I think is an intimate experience because the person knows you well enough to know maybe what you were trying to get across and you missed the point. Or, they might have enough distance from you to say, hey, I just don't understand what you're trying to say here. So it needs to be a working relationship. And if you have a beta reader and you get feedback that really doesn't work for you, then, in the future you can say, thank you, I appreciate your time, but I don't think this is going to work out for us. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Don't take beta readers for granted.
Right.
Don't take beta readers for granted. I think that's also something that's really important to say out loud because they are doing you a favor.
And it does take a lot of time and effort to give the appropriate critique of your work because otherwise it's not valuable. I mean, yes, they get to read your work, but they're reading it in a very rough state. And it is not always going to be the best work that you put out there because sometimes you get lost in the weeds.
Yep, we've done an example of that. So appreciate your beta readers, love your beta readers, and acknowledge them publicly. Acknowledge them. Say, hey, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, we're talking about you, Cap and Dan. And put them in your book. Put their names in the book and give them some love
their acknowledgments.
Because they are your creative partner, not 50-50, of course, because you're doing the heavy lifting by writing, but they are a creative partner, and so they should be acknowledged as such and respected as such. And sometimes even if you want, buy them a Starbucks card or something because they're.
Well, in many cases, they also may be either a writer in their own right, or they may be editors or something who are offering you help for free because they appreciate what you're doing. And it is very good to acknowledge them because by doing that, you may be also getting their name out to someone who would look into their work.
Yep,
and help them out that way.
And if they ask you to be a beta reader, you better
definitely return the favor.
Return the favor, and this might be the I don't want to say the hardest part, but this may be the challenging part of the process. Accept their feedback. Accept their feedback. Don't maybe not get on that high horse and just say, well, they just didn't understand my literary quality or whatever I was trying to express. And you want to know a clue? They may have, and that's what they're trying to tell you.
Or your thought may have been just too out there for your general readership to understand. So if your beta readers are telling you that something is unclear, it may be unclear to other people too. It's not just one person. And it does help to have multiple beta readers because then if you are getting the same suggestions or very similar suggestions from a group of different people, that's the stuff you really need to address.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of an example of some feedback. I'm thinking of, excuse me, blah 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 blah. Some feedback I've gotten more than once is about flashbacks. I like to insert flashbacks for dramatic effect, because even if it's a 2 or 3 paragraphs, the feedback that I've gotten on those consistently is write your book in the sequence of which it occurs.
Chronological order.
Chronological order. Try to. I'm just like, but I want to do this, where things go, and then it goes flashback, and it's like, no, because those can take your reader out of the story, and doing a flashback sequence is really not necessary. And so I have flipped books completely around to do that. An example of that is actually the most recent one is Finding Salvation Part 1. Is like I was inserting, there was a humongous war, and I was inserting flashbacks to the war in the middle of the book. And the consistent feedback I got was, really? And so I flipped it around, and so I did it in sequence. Okay, right, whatever. Do you have an example of consistent feedback that you received on from your betas? I think you really already said it, is make your point.
Right, make my point, but getting lost in the weeds, definitely, because in writing the first draft, I do have a general outline, and in my most recent book, I will say that the outline kind of went out the window, because as I was working, something occurred to me, and I probably should have kept better track of it, but I lost track of the characters in the book. So toward the end of the book, like, people started appearing that weren't mentioned early enough in the book. So you really need to stay focused, even if you don't outline, but you need to keep track of who you're including in the book, because if random people suddenly start popping up out of nowhere, then again, it stops your reader in their tracks, and they're going, wait, what just happened? Did I miss somebody somewhere along the line? So it's very important to keep track of who's in the book, where they're in the book, how important are they to the story? Because maybe you threw them in there and it's like, is that just a plot device?
Oh, well, I can think of one thing that I did too, that you do this too, describing a character 2/3 of the way through the book.
That's challenging though, because you don't want to info dump on people. You have to do it organically.
Yeah, you have to do it organically, but it has to be closer to the beginning of the book, because by the time you've gotten to 2/3 of the book, at least for me, I kind of have an idea of the person's, by reading how they've reacted to things, and how people have looked at them and everything, if the writer has included that. I kind of have an image.
Right.
And then to find out this person is a blonde and not a brunette, that throws me.
And that is good advice. One of the things I do, and I think this may go against what JT is saying, but I actually try to leave things a little bit more fluid, because the reader does fill in the details. That maybe I don't go too deeply into eye color, hair color, things like that. But on the flip side, I guess you kind of want to give the person at least an idea of your character's appearance.
But to get very specific,
trying to balance that.
But get very specific about their appearance late in the book.
Right. No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but people do it.
And now, depending on the kind of book you're writing, remember, every bit of advice you ever get is going to be flexible.
It's wrong.
It's going to be flexible, because I can see a case where describing a character late in the book would be appropriate if something happens to change that character's appearance.
Yeah, of course.
So, maybe they have this disfiguring accident, or, in the case of Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster obviously wouldn't really be described until the monster has been created.
But
so if there's something in the story that lends to you describing that person later, that's one thing.
Oh yeah.
If you randomly threw it in there, that's something completely different.
And that is feedback that we've received from our beta readers. We're not just randomly doing this. These are examples. And we probably did this backwards. We probably should have done the examples first, and then we talk about, but you know what? we'll let our beta readers give us feedback on that. Anyway, appreciate your beta readers, love your beta readers, respect your beta readers. Don't argue with your beta readers because they're really trying to do the best for you as a writer and to help you grow as a writer and help your book be successful. So, but also and I think this should be the last thought.
Okay.
But you can make up your own mind, obviously. Whose name is on the front page, on the cover? Right. You are responsible for everything from cover to cover. Everything in the book as the writer, you are responsible for everything from cover to cover. So if you don't agree with the beta reader, that is okay.
Yep.
As long as you're willing to accept the consequences. When it's all said and done, the beta reader is not responsible for the success or failure of your book.
Right.
You are the writer. It is your book. You're responsible for the cover. You're responsible for the content. You're responsible for accepting or rejecting feedback.
And that's a really great point. But like I said before, if you have multiple beta readers that give you the same advice on the same problem, that you should probably take the advice and, incorporate it into your book. If it's maybe something that's more subjective and one person is saying it here or there, then you can say, I don't know, that's not quite what I had in mind. I understand where you're coming from, but that's not what I intended. So there are two different ways to read the responses you get from your beta readers. And like I said, if it's somebody or if it's a group of people saying the same thing about the same problem, take that advice.
Yeah. So this is a fun topic to go over. We could talk about beta readers for a while, but we're also always curious about your experience. What's your experience with your beta readers? Go ahead and shoot it all over. Let's go ahead and wrap this up if you don't mind, unless you have any last lingering thoughts. We're going to mention just very quickly that as part of this podcast, we also invite writers on here to talk about it. Last week we had KJ Waters. Boy, that was fascinating.
That was a fun one.
That was a fun one.
Do another one easily with KJ.
Yeah, KJ is just fun. And next time I'm looking at our schedule here, we hope to have VL Stewart on there. So VL Stewart looks like another fascinating topic. I need to reach out to you, VL, to get you scheduled for the recording. We also mentioned our sister podcast, the Nevada Author Network, which is a partnership between the Sierra Arts Foundation in beautiful Reno, Nevada, and the Sierra Arts Foundation and our company, Two More Books LLC. What we tried to do there is we tried to highlight and cast a spotlight on the fantastic literary artists here in Northern Nevada. And this last Wednesday, we posted Suzanne Morgan Williams, a fantastic Nevada writer, mentor, teacher, and public speaker who is just really the Swiss Army knife of writers here in Northern Nevada. And we got to talk about her books and her important books about veterans in northern Nevada. After suffering
traumatic injuries.
After having suffered horrific war injuries. So she is a voice for them. And so this is, check out that podcast over on our other website at twomorebooks.com. And speaking of which, and also we're going to be having Jade Williams.
Jade Griffin.
So many. Jade Williams. Sorry about that. We're going to be having Jade Griffin back on to talk about their new book too.
Yes. I will say one more plug for Suzanne is that she's currently teaching a workshop at the Carson City Community Center. I believe it's one day a week. And she has other classes coming up. So they should be advertised, I believe, through the Sierra Arts Foundation. So if you go to sierraarts.org, I believe, or sierraarts.com, you can find a list of the classes that are being offered, not just by Suzanne, but other members of the community. There are things like revision, and which we were just kind of talking about with beta reading, memoirs, poetry, all kinds of different disciplines and different aspects of writing. So definitely go and check those out. Sierra Arts Foundation also provides a lot of support to visual artists and performing artists. So they have a wide variety of information available on their website.
So check them out.
Yep.
Check out and support, by the way, and also support your arts.
Yes.
Because, buildings make a city, but arts makes a community, and that's what we need. Nevada is sorely lacking in a community spirit, and through the arts we can gather that all up. And because Nevada is such a transitory state, but if we can create the arts, then we can create a community. And so let's do that. Anything else we want to talk about?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. The only thing that we didn't mention was the test with word dictation, but we could do another podcast about that later.
Yeah, we'll play with that around later. Anyway, it's Sports Ball Day. We hope that your picked team does well, and I don't think it's going to be the blowout that people are predicting. I'm thinking the Patriots are probably going to be better than people think. It may surprise a whole bunch of people. But we shall see. We'll know very soon.
And if you are a casual fan of football and you're watching mainly for the Super Bowl commercials and the halftime show, we hope you enjoy that too.
And of course, baseball. Baseball.
You will be seeing more about baseball in the coming weeks as they go into when do pitchers and catchers report?
Oh, just
very soon.
A couple weeks actually.
Yeah.
So it's really soon. So
we'll be going into spring training time very soon. So. Yep, we're almost at that time of year. You can't tell we're Cubs fans at all.
Spring, baby, spring. Okay. We've kept you here long enough. We thank you for your kind attention. Sitting over there is CC.
And over there is JT.
Y'all take care of each other and, and go Cubs. Bye-bye.